Welcome to my garden, to the GinGeeGoodEarth program. I'd like to welcome you today. It's been a beautiful sunny day, and I have a wonderful, joyful, peace and love program on the GinGeeGoodEarth show today. We're going to cover a lot of territory. And let me go ahead and give the clipboard an announcement. GinGeeGoodEarth. Production Roman numeral 9. Whoops, we forgot to take off the cats. The last time I did a program was on the cats for kids, but it's August 24th. I think I'm 5 days on vacation since I last downloaded a program onto YouTube. Again, I am Ginger Lily, and this is a GinGeeGoodEarth production. I know it's past 1 a.m. in the morning, but I have been so busy doing Victorian restoration with furniture, and so I'm up late giving you a show, and I want to cover a lot. And I have returned on vacation, and I'm going to read Swift Fawn, Story of an American Indian Boy from the Americas. Okay, it just says story and an Indian boy. Swift Fawn, and I'll be reading that. And I got the book from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and that Johnstown's famous for the Johnstown flood. And this book was written by Mary Wade, and here's an illustration. So it's going to be very pretty. It's going to be a very nice book, a very good read. And I also wanted to say that it was written in the year, I know it's quite old. It's funny they don't have the date right there, but I would say it was given out in 1925 in Pittsburgh. It was a gift. And let's see in the back. Maybe in the back it says. Well, we'll have to look it up. They definitely did not put the date inside the book. Unless I skipped a page. There might be a page missing. And it was printed in the United States of America by Western Printing in Racine, Wisconsin. So we're going to read that. And remember, we have all winter to read a lot of great books. And I will be reading at least 10 pages from the book written 1450 through 1830 on a universal history of the United States of America. And again, just to remind you that the programs are to educate, amuse, enrich, and that we try to promote civility, nice manners. It's fun-filled and artistic, and we're here together to adapt in the Americas, advance, and achieve. And I wanted to mention that. And it's fun to read at night. This is very adventurous. And I wanted to read this wonderful quote from my book of Great Thoughts of the Day. This quote was written by Lao Tzu. Kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. I also would like to announce another book. This is very, very old, and it just even looks old. The cover's falling off, and I got it. And look at the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. The Life of Captain John Smith by W. Gilmore Simms. And the date of this book is, it only cost me $5. But I tell you what, this book is very, very old. Author of Life of Marion, History of South Carolina, New York, published 4th edition. The Life of Captain John Smith. And again, we talk about Captain John Smith in the book A Universal History of the United States of America, entered according to the Act of Congress in the year 1846 by William Gilmore Simms in the clerk's office for the Southern District of New York. And we have a little advertisement by William A. Little. The works consulted in the preparation of this volume are the true travels, adventures, and observations of Captain John Smith in Europe, Asia, Africa, and America. Sith, Beverly, Burke, Purkis, Graham, Bancroft, Collections of the Massachusetts Historical Society, and the neat and well-written Life of Smith by Mr. Hilliard, contained in the Library of American Biography. As much of Smith's own language as could be employed has been made use of without scruple and with little alteration. It has been a favorite part of the plan of the present volume to make the account of the discovery, settlement, and progress of Virginia as copious as possible, consistently with the claims of the biography. So we will read it. And it's pretty dang old, so we're going to read that book. And then I have a double surprise today, and I better get the picture show going. So let's see, we got to get this picture show going. So we have, I got to get this cursor moving. I don't know why. I guess there's a weight on it. Okay, so let's take that weight. There we go. The weight was on it. I need to shuffle it. So we'll get the picture show going, and I'll be here reading for 2 hours. I'm going to try to make this program a nice long program. There we go. Oh, there's the change humanity, which is not joyful, peaceful, or loving. That ended up being our first picture on the picture show, and you can find that at Twin Lakes Park in Pennsylvania. And I have a special project. About 4 years ago, I saw this at the post office, and I just bought it about 3 weeks ago, the art of magic. And I've never opened it. I've been a stamp collector all my life, and I want to see why in the heck do they have the all-seeing eye right there, and this has eyes in the rabbit, United States Postal Service, the art of magic, a magician's kit, and why are they selling this? Okay, I find it very odd. And there's the other side of the art of magic. So we're going to open that and see what's inside. I wanted to save that. And that'll be at the end because there's a lot of things I want to cover. And I wanted to emphasize this wonderful descriptive capital letters here. Joy, peace, and love. Joy, peace, and love. And there we have an ancient first Americans stone wall building. It was near my home in the mountains, and I wanted to share that with you. First American history is alive and well on my programs. So again, we want to share joy, peace, and love. And that's exactly why we should nominate a Christian in our run for president, vice president, and all our political Congress, cabinet, senators, get us back on track. And so I wanted to mention that. So, and I think because of today's times, we do need a concerted effort in nominating God-fearing people in office so that we can have fair representation and more joy in the pursuit of happiness. I'm going to try to fix this bow. I really love making my stage props. I like it being colorful. Whoops. Let's see if I can fix this. How do you like that kitchen sink that's in a mountain cabin up in the mountains, using spring water for their water source? And if we have, oops, now that ribbon fell. Let's try to fix my set. And up above is the poem, Keep on Filling Your Heart. You'll find joy, peace, and love. Okay, so now we have that. I wanted to introduce those new books that I just purchased so that we can have a lot of fun in reading now through the winter. And this is great fun for me, and I hope you find it fun too. And let's do some housekeeping first. You can reach me at gibsongirls@mail.com. I also have a PayPal donation URL site, which is on the description of my YouTube videos. If you would like to donate toward the equipment and the GinGeeGoodEarth programs, it would be greatly appreciated. And I'm a grandmother. And I also want to let you know that if you're new to the program, I have almost 70 videos available. And again, you should watch video number 1 and run through from 1 to the present video in order to have better understanding of the different readings from the book, A Universal History of the United States of America, The Snake Doctor, which I'm reading, and also the book on Norway and the Vikings. And everything is labeled by Roman numerals, and then different sections or parts are excerpts from the different books. And I hope that you enjoy that. Now, I wanted to show this picture in memory. I made a little collage, and I want to show this picture because I was helping in the play called The H-Bomb, and I researched some books for the writer who wrote the play, The H-Bomb. And again, this is from my local newspaper, and I said, Stoffers live, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the 75th year, Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. So I think we need to remember that this was a very tragic event, and just because they could, they did, and you should see the play The H-Bomb and read more about it. I also have a newspaper article about how the veterans say dropping the A-bomb meant they didn't have to fight any longer. But again, there's something that was so overpowering that devastated a civilization and mankind. It wasn't a happy time. And it was not God sent. Okay, so I see that something it was not. Okay, and I think if you see the play The H-Bomb, you'll understand why something like that and war should just be illegal. Okay, we should make war illegal. I don't agree with war. I agree with peace. I agree with compromise. And luckily, our president of this day and age, which would be Presidential President Donald J. Trump, averted World War III. It was averted. And we want it to keep it that way. We don't want war. We need to grow in commerce and grow in scholastic education and grow in our mission for peaceful humanity. And these are some of the reasons why I am, reading and making a commitment to the books so that we could all learn together, and also it gives me a purpose to spread the news through my newspaper parties, because I love reading, how we can excel our thoughts, our emotions, and our souls through education. And I wanted to go ahead and start my newspaper party. And I have an article to read in the newspaper that will describe the reasons why I'm voting for Presidential President Donald J. Trump. And I want to extend an invitation to you. Extra, extra, big newspaper party at the GinGeeGoodEarth show. That means you. Promises a big time. Party will be all the latest news, events, scandal, gossip, entertainment. And we're going to have the night edition. Cocktails will be served. So, let's see what the cocktail is that I picked. Okay, the night edition cocktail, where did I put it? The recipe. Okay, it's right here. And again, I use the Here's How by Stoffers, the cocktail book. And I picked out for today, because we have 2 tropical winds, hurricanes, coming up from the south today. And so we're going to serve for the night edition cocktail the Hurricane Sling. Measure 1 lever bar stool powdered sugar or sugar substitute, a ½ ounce of lemon juice, a ½ ounce of pineapple juice sweetened, a ½ ounce of lime juice, a ½ ounce of apricot brandy, a ½ ounce of amber rum, a ½ ounce of white rum, and 6 drops of almond extract. Shake with cracked ice and strain into a Hurricane Sling glass, number 22. Insert a large straw that has been decorated with 3 cherries and 2 squares of fresh pineapple. And I can show you what that looks like. So bear with me. Let's get the picture up there in the camera. And there it is. Maybe I could get a better view. Let's get a better view. And this is called the Hurricane Sling. This is our night edition cocktail. And as you can see the cherries and the pineapple squares on the straw. Boy, that has a lot of ingredients. That's a beautiful illustration, by the way, too. So we'll be serving the Hurricane Slings in honor of the hurricanes coming up the Gulf. And you can look on the internet. I remember one of the names, I think, is Laura. So we'll see. Okay, so we got that errand done. And now, let's see. I'm going to read and you can enjoy the picture show. There we have a First American Trading Goods. I don't know why I have that newspaper. So we're looking at newspapers right now. I'm reading newspapers. Okay. Where did I? Okay, I see it. There was probably things oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to read this. Rise in jobless claims reflects still struggling U.S. economy. The coronavirus recession struck swiftly and violently. Now with the U.S. economy still in the grip of the outbreak 5 months later, the recovery looks fitful and uneven and painfully slow. The latest evidence came Thursday when the government reported that the number of workers applying for unemployment climbed back over 1 million last week after 2 weeks of declines. The figures suggest that employers are still slashing jobs even as some businesses reopen and some sectors like housing and manufacturing have rebounded. Getting the virus in check dictates when there will be relief from this economic nightmare, and it doesn't look like it will be soon, said Anne Elizabeth Conkle, an economist at Indeed, a job listing website. The scourge in the United States has killed more than 170,000 people and caused over 5.5 million confirmed infections, with deaths rising by more than 1,000 a day on average. Worldwide, the death toll stands at about 790,000, with over 22 million cases. The overall number of laid-off American workers collecting unemployment benefits declined last week from 15.5 million to 14.8 million. Many of them probably found jobs, but some may have used up all their benefits, which in most states run out after about 6 months. In Europe, meanwhile, fears mounted over rising infections, many of them attributed to vacationers and young people lowering their guard. Italy added nearly 850 cases to its counts, with Sardinia becoming a hotspot because of people partying all-night clubs and other spots without masks. Greece reported 269 new infections, matching a record high set 2 days earlier amid a surge in Spain. Emergency Coordinator Fernando Simon said younger people should take into account the risk of infecting other relatives. Nobody should be fooled. Things are not going well, he said. Elsewhere around the world, India logged a record 69,652 confirmed infections in a single day. In the United States, the previous weekly report from the Labor Department showed new jobless claims had dipped below 1 million for the first time since March to 971,000, but the trend reversed itself this time. Many businesses and consumers remain paralyzed by uncertainty and restricted by lockdowns, and job gains appear to be slowly from the rapid bounce backs of May and June, when millions of restaurant and store employees were rehired. The number of job openings posted on Indeed fell last week for the first time since April. 22 million jobs were lost to the outbreak in March and April. In the past 3 months, only 9.3 million have been regained, and unemployment remains at 10.2%. Until the virus can be brought under control, economists agree, any recovery is destined to remain weak. So, we live in the 21st century, and if you get a hold of Judy Mikovich's interview regarding the coronavirus, the pandemic of 2020, she tells this. Now, this article came out of the a Southwest newspaper called the Daily Courier. And it was yesterday's paper. Daily Courier, August 21st, was actually Friday's. Okay, so Whitmer, 6 million Flint water deal, a step toward making amends. South Dakota officials warn of COVID-19 exposure. At Sturgis motorcycle rally. So, I'm so glad they're reporting. When they stop reporting it, that's when it's going to get scary. But always remember Judy Mikovich. Please locate her interview. And she basically goes over that maybe that COVID-19 was injected and then, again, not infected, but again, if you were injected, then you become infectious to other people with it. But anyway, so Judy Mikovich, she was studying the AIDS epidemic when she was 25 years of age, and she has lots to talk about and on this topic, and all about the flu vaccines and the contamination that's hidden within that vaccine that may cause possible harm to you and your loved ones. So please get a hold of her interview. And with that being said, I want to read something special. And this is the editorial writings of 2 people, why they are considering voting for Trump. And this newspaper is the Tribune Review, the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. And there's the comic, Economic Crisis, COVID Crisis, Jobless Crisis, Post Office Crisis. And there's Congress on vacation. And there's a honeybee hive above him. And then the COVID crisis, all the virus germs sailing around him while the Congress is on vacation. And then we have a fire going on for the jobless crisis. And imagine, right now is the largest fire in California's history. The largest. And again, it could have been caused by direct energy weapons and not lightning bolts coming from the sky. So I really think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. And again, we have a post office crisis, and there's a beaver chomping down on the tree, and eventually this man in the hammock, the tree's going to fall down, and he's going to fall down with the bumblebee hive and him on the ground. He won't be on vacation anymore. He's going to end up being in the hospital and getting a secondary, condition of COVID-19. because again, that's how infections spread in healthcare industry. I know for sure because in 9th grade I had bronchial pneumonia. I was admitted to the hospital, and on my leaving the hospital facility, I came down with German measles, which is a harbinger to diabetes. But because I always knew I had to safeguard my life, I maintained a healthy stance on nutrition, and I also became a registered dietitian, 34 years strong now. And I have worked in 5 hospitals and have worked also as a adjunct faculty member at my local community college. So, we got to get a handle on this, and we have to understand everything that's going on. And I'm going to read from the editorial letters because I pretty much agree with what they have to say. These 2 people that wrote, and their last name is Gehring from North Huntington, and I will read this first. President Trump's re-election strategy was based on our supposedly wonderful economy. When that plan was okay, it's the next one. So okay, that one you can read on your own. This is the one I like. Sorry. That's why this is a newspaper party. Where's the night edition cocktail when you need it? You gotta have fun with this. This is all too... Now you know the Republican convention's going on right now. And I saw some of it. You know, I saw most of it, but I mean it just started tonight. Trump keeps promises. And this is the main reason. You know, I'm voting for Presidential Donald J. Trump. And also, you know, he does not receive a wage, a salary for his work as president. And he donates the monies to important American causes. And I think that is wonderful. Trump keeps promises. Tom Pervonick wrote many negative remarks against our president in his letter, What I've Learned About Trump. I was wondering if it was the same letter. August 14th at the Pittsburgh Trib Live. As I read it, I grasped that his views were an emotional response to President Trump's personality. He did not discuss the economic boom our country had experienced until COVID-19 brought great fear to our nation, unemployment to our businesses, and medical challenges we have never faced. And you know what? Don't we all watch the other congressmen and senators and how they just are so, like, you know, the other different parties or people that are in office as long-term career politicians, the way that their attitude reflects what they say, how they, you know, are not supporting our Constitution or our Bill of Rights. It's appalling. That's all I have to say. And that's another reason why I'm voting straight Republican ticket. Because we need a president who's for we, the people. And right now he has Trump victory centers in every state. And he is the victory success of the now election for president. And I have written this statement pretty much in many of my comment sections for supporting this president. Between 2016 and 2019, there was a major political attack on our president, while he persevered to make America first by these actions. So, let's read them. 1. Curtailed regulatory rules to enable huge economic advances. 2. Created tax cuts for corporations and individuals. The number one reason that people let you know about is that they don't want to raise taxes. They want tax cuts. So he created tax cuts for corporations and individuals. Number 3, moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. 4, increased our military strength, which is absolutely necessary. And, when he came into office, they had the Marine Corps go through the Pentagon and, and have people reprimanded over their poor nationalism and, maybe treasonous behavior. Signed the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement. Well, one of the first things he did while he was in office was spend time with the leaders of Mexico and Canada to get trade agreements and border crossing issues, because we had one of the largest opiate crises in America. Almost over plus 80,000 people died from opiates. Where were they coming from? Well, they were coming across the borders and the shipping ports. And he did a lot to bring that number down. And then monies went to education and health care for the individuals that were addicted to opiates. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, negotiated Middle East peace agreements. Yes, and he did that. So they went over the geopolitics, and they want peace in the Middle East. 7, killed Obama's Iran agreement. Yeah, $1.5 million went over to Iran from Ukraine. They stole gold from Ukraine, loaded it into an airplane, and dropped it off. 3 billion of gold from Ukraine. And it was that past administration, not Trump's administration, but the prior administration, that created the coup in the country of Ukraine, and they were manipulating and colluding with oligarchs and so forth. And there are 2,000 Ukrainian children missing. I read that in the paper. You look it up. You can correct it if it needs to be. But again, many European countries are very upset on the war issue in Ukraine, and that it was never to have a happening, but because of our past administration prior to President Donald J. Trump, they participated in aiding other countries like Iran to steal 3 billion of gold from Ukraine. So the Iran agreement was no longer valid. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're on 8. Championed protection for the unborn. Thank goodness. That's why you have to have Christian leadership with morality, God-fearing love for people and humanity. 9, use tariffs to protect United States companies. That's right. Because the NAFTA Act, that hurt American companies. And I'm from, Pittsburgh, which was the steel capital of the world, and now Pennsylvania is the energy capital of the world, and we've got to protect our resources and commerce and review those old tariffs that help and aid our own United States companies. 10, negotiated trade agreement with China. 11, expanded the border wall and strengthened the borders. Yes, because we had a higher incidence of crime and drug paraphernalia crossing the borders, and Americans were dying from opiates, over 80,000 people. That's more people than perished in the Vietnam War. Supported Second Amendment. Yeah, so supporting the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. That's a part of our amendment. Allow retirees, IRAs, and 401ks to thrive. In 2008, we had not just a recession, but a major depression, and that was brought on by the past administrations. And I knew many people in my age group that lost their 401ks, and they were in shock. They were in shock because that was their nest egg. And the same thing with Enron. Do you remember Enron Energy Company? And it tanked, and so many people, especially, in the Pittsburgh region and many other cities, they lost their family funds that were guaranteed to go to their grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and people were committing suicide because of the Enron scandal. Okay, so now the people that were involved with that, they're a part of that problem. And they still ended up in offices and so forth. And also the 9/11. 9/11 was a false flag. Everybody knows, but they won't let that get to court, and that has to get to court. And like I said, I'm a New Yorker and a Pittsburgher, and every family member from New York knows that 9/11 was a false flag, and they've been prohibiting it from being put through the legalities of court. So let's see what number we're on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and number 14 battled the coronavirus. Of course. Yes. There I am, a picture of me with inclusion and diversity. I won the National JCPenney contest for my bulletin board. And I believe in diversity. I believe that all people lives matter. So I wanted to go over that. And I will vote for deeds every time. What do you vote for? Yeah, so that's a good article. So that's what I wanted to read. And I think this, and who wrote this? Mr. Connect Trentum in the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. And thank goodness we have a president that is upholding the Constitution and the rule of law. And I do watch Tom Fitton on YouTube, and this is a YouTube program here that I'm putting together for everybody. This is one of the longest programs. And always remember, thank your veterans. And I'm a Navy CB veteran's daughter. So the other important thing, and Tom Fitton on YouTube with Judicial Watch, and I know that in previous articles I have showed you this, and this is I'm going to start reading soon. But this is Waste Watch. See, Waste Watch. I have every issue of this. Government Waste Watch, newsletter of the Citizens Against Government Waste. And there we have a knight on a horse, and guess what he's slaying? A dragon. A dragon. See that? Okay, I have, talking about dragons, I have something special on my picture show, and I haven't seen it yet, but when I do see it, I'll try to mention it. I added a lot of new pictures. But what I have on here is gin. I am a horse show judge, and so I was on a horse farm, and I took pictures of the horses, and lo and behold, I have a picture I can't explain. So I want you to write to me at gibsongirls@mail.com. You're going to see part of a spacecraft, and then you're going to see just the corner edge, okay? And then you're going to see a raccoon, kind of like, you know, live figure of a raccoon. It's got a rust color to it. I can't explain it. And every time, you know, people like Third Phase Moon or Flat Earth British, I send the picture to Stephen Greer with UFOs, and I want them to tell me, what is it? What is this? Because I took a picture. Look at the square in that cloud, the triangle. I don't know what it is, and so I was told that it was called gin. That it was actually, you know, that living creature, the raccoon, is an example of gin. So that's what I was told. I don't know if you noticed my Holland Dragon teapot right here. I don't know if you can see that. So this is a night show, and this is just, it's going to be problems with the lighting and all that. But I have very amateur equipment. So that's why if you would like to donate to my program, you can write to me at gibsongirls@mail.com. You can donate on PayPal, and I have all my information on the description below the YouTube video. And I also have a store on Etsy.com, Wild Trout Lily, and I'm getting new editions of White Buffalo Spirit. And Honey for All is a new edition. That book teaches you all about beekeeping and how to raise bees, and there's a lot of poetry and tips on the management of the honeybee. And also Pittsburgh, Victoria, and all that is gilded. I direct musical theater, and I had a 40-member choir, and if I were to be hosting another anniversary show, I was in charge of the 100th anniversary of Victorian Days at Kennywood Park in 1998. I had the stage from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, and I was the music director for the 125th anniversary of the Henry Clayford Chapel, and 40-member choir. And again, you can see all my productions on my storefront, Wild Trout Lily, and it's on Etsy.com, and then my address, any information's there. If you want to, donate, you can, and you can just mail it to me by way of mail. And see the orange orb in that picture on the right hand side? See, that's an orb. I took a picture of that. It's above the horse. Anyhow, so this is going to be an exciting program for those that are interested in the issues and the topics that I like. And I'm sharing information with you, and I'm learning myself. Okay, by no way do I know as much as Stephen Greer or Third Phase Moon. But now I'm going to start reading the book, A Universal History of the United States of America, and then we'll open up The Art of Magic from the post office. I don't know what's in the box, so I'm excited to see. And I need better lighting, so let me see if I use this, if it will be good. Let me just see. Oh yeah, this might be good. This will be a big help. See, I have this other sign, GinGeeGoodEarth. We'll use this to read the book. Okay, so we'll get started. Okay, we finished on page 148, A Universal History of the United States of America. So I'm going to backtrack to 147. The insults, so we're getting started. We're getting started, and we're like blinking here. Okay, and then enjoy the picture show. Okay, maybe I should move this over a little bit. So you can see the picture show. I'll get closer to the picture show. And then here's my set. I have a beautiful Brazilian doll, and then a Mexican America's doll, and then a Victorian woman, and then a revolutionary blue coat soldier, and then a first American doll. And I have the dragon teapot and Etsy.com store. See, it's right there. So we'll get on this. Yeah, I know. This is my equipment. I have amateur equipment. So we'll try to put this here. And while I'm reading, you might see the gin. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to start. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, I bet. I'm also going to read the article about the international airport. I found it. And, you know, one of the things about reading from the newspaper or talking about newspaper articles, you do want to have accuracy. Okay, I don't have a script. Okay, I'm a grandmother and I want to get the information out, so I'm not going to be perfect. So if there's something you want to comment on, one of my mistakes in my wordage, you can do so at gibsongirls@mail.com. And I will try to keep up with my fan mail. And anything that you would like to purchase, just go to the Etsy.com store, Wild Trout Lily. Trout spelled T-R-O-U-T. And if there's something that you see, you can just write to me that you would like a copy of or information on anything that I presented. I will be happy to write you back. Correspondence. And also, I will be reading White Buffalo Spirit. So we're going to be reading this book. And it's white. There you go. White. So I'll be reading this book too, White Buffalo Spirit. I'm the co-author, and I did the majority of the photography.